Hi, BooTube. I'm Lady Rum. Odie, come here. Come in the video. Hey, I'm actually allowing you in the video this time, okay? I'm actually allowing this. Because this is not a normal video. This is not a reaction rant video. This is a prediction video. And you see this. You see, hang on, guys. I'm sorry about that, guys. I was trying to get my dog to not block the camera. But anyway, Odie? Where you at? Baby? Up. Fix your ear at least. Jeez. What are you doing? What you doing, huh? What you doing? Kiss mommy. Kiss. Kiss. Thank you. Anyway. This is not our normal reaction rant. And seriously, Odie. We had this discussion. You cannot block the camera. You cannot block the camera. Okay? Now go down. Think about what you did. But anyway, this is a prediction video. So today's Tuesday, which means Flash will premiere. What time is it right now? It's 1 something right now. Like I got 7 hours basically. And I hear that we're going to learn who Savitar is in this episode. I thought we were going to learn who Savitar was in last week's episode, especially when at the end when Killer Frost ends up being confronted by Savitar. Odie, stop it. When Killer Frost ends up being confronted by Savitar and he actually comes out of that suit. But the only thing we see of this person is their leg, basically. Which sucks. A lot of people were like totally butthurt because they're like, who the hell is Savitar? I want to know who Savitar is. And there are a lot of predictions on who he is. Before last week's episode, which was the episode that Barry goes into the future, a lot of people predicted that Savitar could possibly be HR. And so, here are some reasons why people thought so. And here are some reasons maybe I thought so in the beginning. Remember that episode where, the episode that basically injured Caitlyn, which pretty much led to her becoming Killer Frost? Remember, like, HR was not in that episode at all, and he didn't even show up till, like, the end, where he shows up at Star Labs, and he sees Caitlyn there, she's, like, healing in her hospital bed, and it's like, why are you in bed? What happened? Whole Jello cute thing moment. Remember that? HR was basically not in the episode the entire time until that moment, and because of that, a lot of people suspected that he might be Savitar. One, they still don't know much about HR, right? For all we know, he could have like a bunch of little secrets and no one knows it. Hang on for a sec. My dog is doing some weird things. Sorry about that. My dog was doing something so weird. But anyway, a lot of people assume HR because he's still kind of a... Well, before last week's episode, a lot of people thought Savitar was either HR Wells, and some people even thought it was Julian. Odie, get out of the kitchen. But anyway, a reason for that is because both HR and Julian were still the newcomers of Team Flash. They're still the oddball ducklings. And not only that, Julian was more suspicious. Well, I wouldn't say more suspicious, but he was more... How should I say this? More of a common factor when it came to Savitar, mainly because, remember, he was under the control of Savitar once upon a time, and a lot of people thought maybe he's now Savitar. A lot of people still didn't trust HR because he's still very, like, they don't know him very well still. Henceforth, they still think it's HR. And then last week's episode happened. And a lot of more questions came along. Last week's episode, we saw Killer Frost in all her glory. And at the end of the episode, we saw her, like I said, encounter Savitar, because Savitar literally was right there in her face while she was walking barefoot in the snow-covered woods. And he's all preaching to her, saying, I could give you salvation. She's like, what, you're going to make me Caitlyn again? He's like, no, I'm here to make sure Caitlyn is gone forever. And Killer Frost was asking, the age-old question, why should I trust you? Right? He's all preaching to her, and I don't blame her for asking why she should trust him. That's when he got out of his suit and we just saw his leg. We didn't see anything else. But, like, the moment Killer Frost laid eyes on Savitar, she immediately trusted him and saying, she literally said to him, what do you need me to do? So that that pretty much opened the big bag of worms, right? Not bag, can of worms, you know what I mean? But anyway, obviously Savitar is someone that Killer Frost knows. Perhaps even Caitlyn, right? But Killer Frost knows who Savitar is. Because the moment she saw him come out of that suit, she immediately trusted Savitar, right? And also, when we saw the future, the suspicion of both HR and Julian was both lowered down exponentially, because I don't even know if I'm using that word right. But like, the suspicion of HR and Julian being Savitar lessened like 10 million times when we saw last week's episode when Barry traveled to the future, because when you see in the future, apparently Future Flash did in fact defeat Savitar, trapped him in like a Speed Force trap or something like that. And apparently, spoiler alert for those who didn't watch last week's episode, apparently Barry got that trap from this lady, I forgot her name already, but she made the trap for him to trap Savitar, but she didn't make the trap until 4 years after Iris died, right? And so, but the reason why I said that, the suspicion of HR and Julian being Savitar have both lessened is because when Barry traveled to the future, Julian and HR were both, in fact, there. Hang on for a sec, guys. Sorry, I heard singing, and it was like the funniest thing in the world. But anyway, where was I? HR and Julian. The suspicion of them being Savitar gradually lowered, especially when